Welcome back to the Beauty Talk podcast, your go-to source for all tips, tricks, and trends for the beauty industry. My name is Veronica. I'm a permanent makeup artist, and today we're going to have Beata Goodman.
Yes.
Could you please give us a quick little introduction?
Hey, Veronica. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to be here. My name is Beata Goodman. I go by B. I have a hashtag Spa Queen B. I'm a licensed esthetician, massage therapist here in Illinois, and I also have written over 120 curriculums for continuing education for cosmetologists, estheticians, nail technicians, instructors, and massage therapists. Wow, I've done a lot in 30 years. And I think that once you do have a license in this industry, there are so many opportunities that you can channel your passion into.
I am so excited to continue to talk to you. And today's episode is proudly sponsored by G Skin Beauty Institute in conjunction with estheticians.com. So let's get into the nitty gritty. There's a lot of things that I know that our audience, as well as me, need some education on.
Okay.
I was reading a little bit about you, and I know that your specialty is going to be on cosmeceuticals.
Oh.
What does cosmeceuticals really mean?
Awesome. Well, think about it. We all are consumers, whether you're on digital platforms or in brick and mortar stores. And there really is a difference between OTC, over-the-counter products, versus salon strength products. And where I've spent most of my career is in medical grade skincare formulations. And I'm lucky enough that I work for a company that has a manufacturing facility. I've seen manufacturing facilities here in Illinois as well, where we have more potent ingredients, the pH is more active, and you have a different formulation philosophy to make those products more active. So let's talk about what happens when you're at the drugstore or even at your favorite department store beauty counter. Okay. Those products are going to be OTCs. Over the counter. So you could use something generic enough, but it's really not going to help your skin. It's going to keep it plateaued.
Okay.
So it's not really going to help it. It's just going to keep it okay. Then when we talk about salon strength, then we have the ability to have hydroxy acids, maybe up to a 30% strength. The pH, remember pH way back in school, it's the potential of hydrogen. And you want to keep products that are going to be active to help deliver those potent ingredients skin neutral, which if you remember from State Board, it's 4.5 to 5.5, especially when you have a delivery of multiple pathways where we're affecting the microbiome. You know, when I started 25, 30 years ago, we didn't even know about the microbiome. And I want to thank the industry for educating the consumers every day about maybe a body wash that has microbiome technology. Well, when we're talking about skin, the largest organ, there is the microbiome. We have 5 layers of the epidermis. And what we're really focusing on is you cannot have a great epidermis unless we have the healthiest DEJ, or epidermal junction, and that is the layer of skin where the epidermis and the dermis meet. It is this Velcro adhesion that has 5 rare proteins, and we need to have nutritious, potent ingredients that can help revive a flattened and slackened Velcro adhesion of the DEJ. The true skin is the dermis, where you have not just collagen, but you also have elastin fibers that help firm or cause your skin to snap back quickly. And then the most important that helps us with our sculpture, with our thermal regulation, where we store every calorie, unused calories, is the subcutaneous tissue. So we can use ingredients to affect all of these layers of skin. And it really is a great formulation philosophy if it's an OTC product, or if we have potent ingredients that can deliver more true visible results. At the department store, at the let's just say even the drugstore where you're getting your prescriptions filled from, unless a physician writes a prescription, it's really not going to do much for your skin. cosmeceuticals are going to have active ingredients. And again, it's based on what is the delivery system. Is it with hydroxy acids? Maybe are they peptides? Are they bioavailable peptides? What types of vitamins? We know that the best anti-aging ingredients are a vitamin A, a vitamin C, but we're also hearing more about bioavailable peptides. Something that I'm excited about is speaking about first neurocosmetic in the industry. And as an esthetician, I'm going to share that SPF is your BFF, and what is in that SPF protection that's going to help with long-term skin health.
Okay.
So when you go to a doctor, a dermatologist, a provider, when they write you a prescription, do you want to see a difference in the health of your organism within days, or do you want to have a result within 3 months or 6 months?
Well, I think that the most of us would say we want instant results, right? Because we are American consumers and we want everything
A quick fix.
right away.
And
right
so
away.
that's the beauty with medical grade skincare. Medical grade skincare happens when you have to have a physician license to even carry these very potent ingredients, because you do want to have a relief or an improvement in days, in weeks, not wait months or years for an improvement.
Okay, so would you say that that's a major difference between, regular cosmetics over the counter and the cosmeceuticals?
Yes.
Is
Potent ingredients.
ingredients.
It's the pH of the products. It's the percentage of active ingredients in there as well. And it is by professionals for their customers, for their clients. They want to have an improvement. And so we have the ability to give them potent ingredients in a quicker delivery system.
And so how would you know that if your esthetician is using cosmeceuticals versus just professional products? Like, how do you know this?
Well, that's a great question, because when I first started off as an educator, I was an educator for products that you do see at Ulta, at Sephora, whether it was working for Dr. Howard Murad, working for Dermalogica. So those are great products, and they're international brands as well. However, you're really not going to have great results from that. It's going to help relieve the situation. But when you go to a plastic surgeon, a dermatologist, a specialist, when they're going to recommend a course of treatment, you don't challenge that. You don't blink at the price of it. You're going to do what the protocol that the physician or that expert is. Just like if you're working in a salon setting, that is the licensed professional. As a cosmetologist, all the hours that you put in for that licensure, for that degree, for that diploma, you are the expert. You are more credible than someone wiping off the dust at the beauty counter. So you have more, you are empowered to do a skin consultation, and you know enough in your industry that you know who are the providers that can help provide a solution for what that guest is asking for.
Yes, I really, really love that. I love that because I think that as consumers, you just say, okay, this person's is a licensed esthetician, but then now we have the esthetician.
How about skinfluencers? Yes. How about someone that didn't even... you're reading my mind. It's whether they're on Facebook, on Instagram. Every week, a new celebrity is coming out with their own skin or beauty product. So it's just interesting that could even be a private label that they're just putting their name on.
Yes. I actually just learned about private labels, so I'm happy that you even brought that up. I didn't know that it could be the exact same product and you're just changing the label.
Oh, and even physicians do this too in the space. I work for a company where I only visit dermatologists, plastic surgeons, and what physician doesn't want their ego stroked with their name on a bottle.
On their product, exactly.
When I see the same packaging across the country, and I pretty much know who's that provider, who's the manufacturing facility that's doing just the label changing for that office.
For that office. That's incredible. That's incredible. So then what would you say that cosmeceuticals really does for the microbiome?
Oh, the microbiome.
But yes.
Veronica, what if I told you that we're 1% human and a host to what makes up the microbiome? The microbiome weighs anywhere from about 7 to 9 pounds. And we shook hands, we're exchanging microbiome. So every time that you shake hands with your salon guest, whether you're embracing your favorite client, maybe you're exchanging kisses with your family members, we're exchanging microbiome. So think of this as keeping it healthy, balanced, and diverse. Conditions that have an impaired microbiome have an impaired barrier function to the skin. So it doesn't look healthy. It could be red, inflamed, angry, scaly, and those are visible signs of an impaired microbiome. I would even say eczema, psoriasis, acne are great visuals when you think of when they're at their most irritated stages. They are red, scaly, angry, inflamed. And so we want to use prebiotics. We can use postbiotics. We can use microbiome-friendly ingredients to help rebalance it, keep it balanced, diverse.
Okay. So what are microbiome friendly ingredients?
Well, maybe you had something for breakfast today, like yogurt. Yogurt is a probiotic. And where do you get them in the grocery store? Is it on the shelf?
They're usually refrigerated.
Thank you for saying that, because it's very disingenuous when I do go to these beauty supply stores or even the department stores where they are touting to be probiotic, because probiotics mean that they are live cultures. And how can you have something say that it has a probiotic if you're not refrigerating them? Okay. How are you maintaining the shelf life of that? And a true probiotic, and there are vegan and organic probiotics out there, but maybe that shelf life is good for 30 days. When we're having products that we're buying from the professional or even from your Amazon, you want to make sure that the integrity, that it is stable for at least a year and a half. How is it packaged? Is it UV protected? All of those components help maintain or destroy the shelf life of your product. And I also want to share, working for a medical grade skincare company, probiotics are prohibited by the FDA to be in professional skincare products.
Why is that?
Because of the shelf life. How are you going to maintain that?
That is so right.
So we'll use prebiotics. What are the goodies before the probiotics take culture? Or we'll use postbiotics in a formulation.
Okay.
And so they'll help be the good carbs for your skin to help with the barrier reinforcement.
See, that is way further than I've ever even tried to dive into pre and post biotics, you know? So, and I know that a lot of SDs really are proponents of, everything starts from inside.
Well, and I do believe that. I do believe what is happening intrinsically is reflected extrinsically on your largest organ.
Yes. So this is a question that I know that a lot of the audience right now, and we briefly touched upon this when you first came in, and I know especially for me and my demographic and what I do, I'm noticing a lot of girls talk to me about how they're using medical grade products, or they're using the certain type of product and they've been using it for their entire lives. And now their skin is changing.
Yes.
The texture of their skin is changing. The way that they absorb the product is changing. What do you have to say about our maturing clients?
Well, first of all, I am experienced. I am in my 6th decade of life, 6 decades. And so think about everything that my skin environment has gone through, whether it's your body remembers every sunburn. It's called cellular memory. And, I've had the ability to work with a gynecologist. I don't want to scare you, but women are entering puberty younger and younger. And just, can you imagine being in 3rd or 4th grade and starting your menses?
And I'm a Latina, and we tend to menstruate really young, so I did.
And so, long story short, when we are born, every woman has all the ovaries that we're going to be releasing. And if we start releasing them when we're in 3rd grade, 4th grade, they're going to be living most of their life in a post-menopausal state. And what happens when you're down to your last dozen, your body's going to have some changes because what if I told you you are considered the most attractive when a woman is ovulating?
I believe that.
I could tell too. I could tell too. And now we even have something like the Aura Ring where you wear that and it lets you have the awareness when you're ovulating as well. So you want to channel that energy. But number 2, when you've released your last dozen eggs, you're no longer producing progesterone. And progesterone is not only responsible for sebum production, it also helps with your communication, how your skin absorbs nutrition into your organism. And that's why you may see more wellness centers doing bioavailable pellets. They're doing natural hormone where they're pelleting men and women to help maintain those hormonal levels intrinsically. But someone that is menopausal, working with Dr. Howard Murad, I learned the 1-year anniversary of your last menses, you literally lose 50% of collagen and elastin overnight. So that
is so sad.
And that is when a woman enters full menopause. So it's the 1-year anniversary of your last menses.
Okay.
And that's when you are, and also going to your physician, they could do a blood test and see what is your follicle stimulation hormone, your FSH. Okay. So I think that's kind of interesting too. So not only are we starting to develop quicker, younger, I think that it is the quality of nutrition you put into your body. Yes. Are you with organic milk, or is it just something that, that a cow was also influenced or enhanced with growth hormones? Because a cow produces 10 gallons of milk a day. Not for us. For their calf, for their offspring, to have that biggest growth. But if they're injecting that cow with growth hormones, now they're producing 100 gallons of milk a day. And do you think someone is being very gentle with expressing it?
No, absolutely.
And so maybe those udders are filled with inflammation and pus and whatever else. And now we have even more things that are treated in our quality of food. So I'm just saying that we are what we eat. And if you're going to choose food that have ingredients to stimulate growth, just keep that in mind when you're looking at your strawberries. A strawberry should not be 2 to 3 inches big.
Yeah.
It should be the size of your thumbnail, because that's what happens naturally. So I think that's first awareness. And same thing, what you're putting on your skin on a daily basis. What kind of nutrition are you putting in? Are you putting the most efficacious ingredients? And what are these high potency ingredients that you want? And you do have a choice, because it's all about long-term skin health. Things like vitamin A, a retinol, should be used in the evening hours. I was at Costco and they have a brand that has the retinol with SPF. And what a quandary, because that is phototoxic and you should not be wearing a retinol during the daytime. But that is a message to the consumer. They're thinking that they're doing something good.
Yes.
But it's not to be positioned during the daytime. So vitamin A helps maintain proper skin thickness. Things like vitamin C, I think of it as BLT, brightens, lightens, and tightens skin. I think that should be done for AM and PM. Not only are we getting 11 hours of UVA and UVB radiation because of summertime solar hours, we're still also being assaulted with HEV, high emitting violet, blue light. Whether they're watching this podcast on their computer or on their smartphone, that's also exposing them to HEV blue light. I'm actually wearing a bracelet that when we're out in the sun, when it changes a purple tone, that's a visual cue. Do you have your sunscreen on?
That is incredible.
Because your body produces melanin to prevent any more assault from UV radiation. And earlier I talked about that your body has something called cellular memory. It remembers every sunburn, every suntan, and every time that you assault that melanin, it has a hard time going away. Melanin, whether it's post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation where you had a breakout and maybe you use benzoyl peroxide or different ingredients, well, now you see where you had the breakout. Now you want to get rid of the pigment. Or because of hormonal issues, people have something called melasma.
Yes.
And we want to have solutions that are going to be for long-term health. Now, I could go to a doctor and they can write us a prescription for something called HQ, hydroquinone. But HQ kills the melanocyte and only should be done for every 3 months, and you need to take a break from it. Okay. There are people that maintain that. And in certain countries in Asia, those are banned. Ingredients like kojic acid, hydroquinone are banned. So if they're banned in other countries, why are we still using them?
Exactly. So I know that you brought some products with you today.
I did.
And I want you to kind of give us a little brief on what is the difference, right? Because
Awesome.
I think that I kind of talked to you earlier about if I see vitamin C, I'm going to think that the vitamin C in a capsule is the same thing as a vitamin C at Target, as the same thing as vitamin C at my dermatologist. I think it's all the same.
So I'm educated. I'm from the 20th century. I've had my license since the 20th century. So we'll talk about different types of vitamin C. What I brought with me is something called tetrahexyldecyl ascorbate. Tetra means 4. So there are 4 lipid barriers that are encapsulating the pure ascorbic acid. Veronica, when we use THD ascorbate in Japan, this is a holistic alternative to hydroquinone and kojic acid. In fact, this one bottle is worth $1,000 right here. Wow. So, and I think of it as BLT, brightens, lightens, and tightens skin. This is the raw material itself, and I work for a company that this is our choice. This is 21st century form of vitamin C. And I want you to feel it because there is no aroma to it. It does not oxidize. So this is the raw material that Veronica's getting a chance to experience. But then the company I work for also makes it into a lotion. Okay. Not a serum. It comes into a lotion. So when I express this form of vitamin C, it comes out as a white lotion. This is calibrated to your skin pH. We talked about potential of hydrogen. So I want you to smell it. Even the raw material.
Just a little bit over here.
And so is there an aroma?
No, there's really nothing.
And this is oil-free. It is transepidermal penetration. So as we're applying this to our largest organ, there are also 2 microbiome technologies to help with barrier function. So we have something called diglycosylgallic acid to help brighten the skin. We also have carboxymethyl microbiome that's going to also help with the barrier function. So think of it as like giving it the good carbs to the skin. So if someone has rosacea, this is actually going to help clear up visible redness within minutes.
I love this. I mean, it truly feels like I just gave my skin like a tall drink of water.
Well,
And it looks that way, too.
I'm lucky enough that I actually set up physician investigator offices to conduct clinical studies. And that one little bottle with an SPF every day, the participants in this case study that was done downtown Chicago at a dermatologist's office, in 3 months, they used this in June, July, and August. In 12 weeks, 90 days, 3 months, they cleared up their melasma. 100%.
I love that.
I think that's also something that I like to know about true visible results, and having a dermatologist especially validate this on Fitzpatrick 5s, Fitzpatrick 6. And it is safe enough for reactive skin. I'm going to have confidence using a product that has true visible results.
100%. And I can definitely say that having a product that knows about Fitzpatrick 5s and 6, for me, that's
game-changing.
Valuable.
Well, because we're global beauty.
Yeah.
Especially being from Chicago.
Yes, exactly. So, and this is something that, I mean, I feel like I have so many questions that I can continue to ask you, right? And even just in our brief conversation prior to this, I feel like you are just a wealth of knowledge. But for today, we are coming down to the very end, and I would love to have you back to just go over even more of these products and really what to look for when we as consumers are going out and looking for our new products.
Wonderful.
So I want to thank you so much for being a host and for giving us all this beautiful information.
That was it. That time flew by when we're passionate about something.
I know. I'm like, but I'm getting the signal. So we are ready to wrap up. And thank you so much for all your knowledge and for sharing so openly about this, you know, and not gatekeeping for the rest of us, okay? Because TikTok is not your source.
Right.
Okay?
Go to a licensed skinfluencer.
Yes, exactly. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And if you want to stay up to... If you want to stay in the know of the tips, tricks, and trends in the beauty industry, continue to follow us on social media and our website at beautytalkpodcast.com. Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you.